Okay. All right. Ready? Here we go. I don't think the sight on the gun is quite calibrated. The way I was shooting, it looks a little...
What is up, everybody? On today's video, we're going to be showing you how to switch from a controller on Apex Legends over to a mouse and keyboard. We're going to go over the keybinds and everything that I've learned throughout my time on Apex Legends, and I found out what worked well for me, so hopefully it'll work well for you as well. But otherwise, let's hop into it and I'll show you what all we got. Start here, we're going to have the interact prompt style. That's going to be default and compact. I actually like to play on default. I kind of like to have a little bit more information and kind of be able to see it. Crosshair damage feedback throughout all the videos I've seen. A lot of people love having this off. What the difference with this is going to be is you can have X with shield icon. So if I go here and I switch it, shoot one of these guys, you're going to be able to see the X there whenever your shots are hitting. That little X around my reticle is what you're going to see. And then if I want to turn that off, I'm no longer going to get that X. And instead, it's just going to give me the damage feedback numbers. Next part of the settings here is going to be your damage numbers. You want these to be stacking. So you're going to have differences here. You can have both on, which is going to give you all those individual numbers that you just saw floating up in the air right there, as well as the stacking numbers. Have just floating, and that's just going to be something where you have to somehow figure out how to add up. I don't think anybody can do math that fast. And so what we use here is stacking, where it is going to add all of it up. I know I did 232 damage. I don't have to add it up in my head. Ping opacity, what we're actually going to be rocking with is going to be the faded obituaries. I like to have on, that's that little death log and everything that you see on the side of your screen. Anytime enemies are down or defeated or anything like that, you'll be able to keep track of it. Mini map rotation, I prefer to have mine on. Some people like theirs off. That really comes down to preference as well. Weapon auto cycle on empty. This is very, very important. You want this to be on. Say I have a prowler here as my backup gun. It's only got 20 bullets in it. I'm going to run it out of bullets real quick. Boom. It automatically switches my guns. I don't have to do it myself. I'm not going to be shooting blanks or anything like that. Auto sprint, I prefer to have auto sprint on. Just helps me get around faster. I don't have to hold down a button to sprint or anything like that. Double tap sprint, I don't really like having double tap sprint on. That's just because I have auto sprint on. Jetpack control is toggle. So jetpack control being toggle, I just have to press my spacebar button one time. I don't have to hold the spacebar button. I can freely move. Incoming damage feedback, I just have mine set to 3D. Taking damage closes death boxes or crafting menu. I like that to be off, actually. So if I'm going to be getting shot at or anything like that, I want my damage closes death box or crafting menu to be off. I do not want it to automatically close that death box for me. The reason behind that is maybe I'm trying to get a shield swap. Maybe I'm low on health. If I get shot at in the middle of trying to get that shield swap off, I might not get it because it's going to keep closing that death box on me. If I have this turned off, instead, it is going to allow me to stay in there. I might be taking damage, yeah, but I can get that shield swap off and possibly live longer and then get out of the fight. Performance display, I like to have mine enabled. That's just the top right-hand corner of the screen there. You'll be able to see your FPS, your ping, all that kind of stuff. Colorblind mode, a lot of people prefer to play in Tritonopia. They say it's a lot easier to see in the storm on Tritonopia. Seems to work for me, seems to work for a lot of other people. So if you want to, make sure to try that out if you're having a hard time seeing in the storm, or just kind of play around with the other colorblind settings. So video settings, I like to play on full screen. Aspect ratio 16:9, max resolution. Brightness, I go to 65% just so it's a little bit brighter in those darker areas. I prefer a 108 field of view. A lot of people play between 100 and 110. FOV ability scaling, you want that to be on. Sprint view shake, I like that to be on minimal. VSync, I have disabled. Reflex, I have disabled. I don't really have any of this other stuff on. I kind of play on low settings a lot. I don't really care too much about graphics or anything. I just want my high FPS. Apex is a beautiful game as it is. Kind of up to you on what you want to play with. I prefer the higher FPS, so I keep my settings lower. All right, so let's walk you through why I use some of these mouse settings, stuff like that. On sensitivity, I'm going to be using a 3.0 sensitivity, kind of a mid-range sensitivity. I feel like I'm able to use the mouse. What you want to be able to do whenever you're doing your sensitivity is say I'm sitting in the middle of my mouse pad right now. I go all the way to one side of my mouse pad, and I can go to a 180. I go all the way to the other side of my mouse pad. I can do a 180 again. Some people prefer to have a full 360 on one half swipe. I prefer to have it on a full swipe. There's not a lot of times I'm having to do full 360s necessarily on Apex, so you can raise yours up if you want to. I just like to have mine lower and feel a little bit more controlled on whenever I'm using it. ADS mouse sensitivity multiplier, I have a 1.3 on mine, and then I do not have my per optic sensitivity on currently. Mouse acceleration off, mouse invert obviously off. Nobody, only crazy people are using that. Lighting effects off. That's just RGB on your keyboard, mouse, all that kind of stuff. There's no point in really having that on unless you just want it on. WSAD for move forward, back, left, and right. That is just pretty common on any and every game. Sprint and toggle zoom. So toggle zoom is going to be G. So if I pull my R301 out, I click G. So I'm not really having to move my hand or anything like that. So I can move left and right. I can be moving left. Can't really move right unless I move my hand, but that's totally fine as well. I'm not really zooming that in and out like this as much. This is to an extreme right now. Next up, you got spacebar as jump. It's going to be double key binded with the up button. The reason you want that to be double key binded is so that you can do a wall jump or something like that. So if I do up here, I'm going to go do a wall jump, boom. And since I'm using my mouse wheel, it is actually going to input that jump button a bunch of times and a whole lot faster. So it's a lot easier to time to be able to do this. Crouch, we've got as left shift. So the shift button on our left, that is honestly normally where my pinky finger is going to rest anyways. Whenever I'm kind of typing or something like that, or I'm kind of hanging out on WSAD as my movement stuff, I like shift to be my crouch and slide button. It is very easy to tap, very easy to get into and out of. Doesn't really require a lot of, it doesn't require any movement on my hand or anything, and it's something that I'm going to be using and doing a lot of, and which is why I want it somewhere such as my movement keys as very easy to press and get to. Tactical ability is going to be my bottom mouse button. So see here, I've got clickers, I've got the mouse wheel, which goes up and down. It also can click in, which is going to be my ping button. We'll get to that. And then I have mouse button on the bottom and then mouse button on the top. So mouse button on the bottom is going to be my tactical ability. Mouse button on the top is going to be my melee. I just find that easier. Some people like their melee to be on their keyboard. I like to have it on here. So if I want my ultimate ability, it is going to be the X button. That is going to be something that is very easy to click from my movement button still. I hit X. Boom, I pull it out. I throw my Bangalore ult. Boom, it comes down. Interact pickup is going to be F. That is right next to my D button, so I can run around and pick up stuff very quickly. This is one of the big keys to switching to mouse and keyboard is how fast you can actually loot on this game. So I can just, boom, get all my stuff, get all these heals. Let me grab all this ammo real quick. Oh, I need some upgrades for my guns. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm all set and ready to go. Looting and getting anything out of a box is going to be extremely fast on mouse and keyboard. It's a big perk to being able to play on mouse and keyboard. You might not have aim assist like you do on one of these controllers, but that's not that big a deal. There's a lot of advantages to playing on mouse and keyboard on Apex Legends. So inventory is going to be my caps lock button. Very easy to press. Caps lock button is actually going to be, or your inventory button, sorry, is actually going to be what gets you out of those death boxes quickly. So you want to have that on something that's easy to press. You don't want to have to press escape every time that you have to go and get out of a box. Instead, you want it on something that's quick. That way, if I do need to loot quick or I am getting shot at, I can boom, loot the box, hit caps lock. It won't pull up my inventory if I'm actually in a box. Instead, it'll just pull me out of that box that I'm looking at right then and there. Toggle fire. So say I want to go to a single fire. It's not that often you're going to go to a single fire or switch your firing rate, but mine is going to be Q. So that is going to be right next to my move forward button. So if I press Q, boom, I go to single fire. And I can single fire this gun. Switch it back to automatic and run it down. E is how I holster my gun. So it's something right next to my move forward button, to the right specifically of my move forward button. You got W, then you got E. And that is going to be what holsters my gun so that I can move faster and run faster. But if I want a grenade, I hit down control. Boom, I can pull out my grenades. If I want to switch my grenades, I just hold control. Then it doesn't need to be a super easy key to get to. You can make it something that's comfortable for yourself. I find it comfortable that it's right below my shift button, which is crouch. If I want an alt survival button, that is going to be my left alt, which is going to be where my thumb goes. So whenever my thumb is on spacebar to jump, alt is right to the left of that. It's not hard to move. All it is this movement. I go from spacebar like this. Boom. There's my alt button where it would normally be. These can be up to you. I honestly don't usually use a lot of these. Some high-level players do love to get theirs all set up on what heals they want where. I don't necessarily want to have to go through and remember that. I don't find it that hard to switch up my heals, but you can keybind individual types of heals to different numbers or whatever buttons you want so that you just have to hit that and then it uses that particular heal. My heal button is going to be 5. All I do is go from my right pointer finger is on D and then I stretch it up to 5, hold down 5, and I choose what I want with my mouse. Super quick. Boom. I can go syringes. I can be running forward. Boom. I want to know I'm going to want to use a bat. Boom. I want to use a Phoenix kit. Boom. I'm going to go back to syringes. Ping is going to be that. And then if I hold the ping, I can switch it up and do whatever. Say I'm not talking on a mic to my teammates. I can say, hey, someone's been here. that's really about it. So those are all the mouse and keyboard settings that I came up with and the ones that I used and just learned from other videos and everything. If this video helped you out, make sure to drop a comment down below just to let me know. And if you have any other keybinds that you prefer to use, you can let me know those as well. If you did enjoy the video though, make sure to drop a like on it, hit a subscribe button to the channel, and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos or live streams. Till next time, peace.